catchers right now. I mean, well, obviously you love Jonah, but the guys behind Kissner, Huff, and
Yeah.
the like.
Yeah, we talked about this a few days ago, and I said we're comfortable with our catching situation. We have 3 guys with major league experience. I'm sorry, actually 4. And, you know, I think you look at the depth that we have, too. I mean, Sam, we know very well. I mean, Andrew, I mean, he's plays very well. Both he and Napper, they just do a great job behind the plate, but, we'll also provide some offense. So they're going to get some playing time. I think Jonah's first start is the 28th. We're just moving him back just because of the load, I guess you could say, a little bit. So we're going to get a look at all these guys, give them a chance to show what they're able to do, and it's probably going to go down to the end of spring training before we know what we'll do, whether it's 3 catchers or who that last spot is.
So that's a possibility. I mean, you did it through the
Yeah, not ruling out anything. Yeah, again, this gives us some options toward the end, whether we go with that 3rd catcher or not. And, possibility of pinch running for a catcher, makes you less vulnerable late in the ball game.
What do you like about Andrew as far as his makeup and so forth?
Brings a lot of energy. I mean, he's a fun guy to just be around, talk to, but watch him work. He's got great energy that I think the pitchers love. He's constantly talking to them. He's a learner. He wants to get to know all about them. And then the bat, you watch him. He's got some pop in the bat. That's real. So that's intriguing.
I know you went kind of over your pictures, but for Friday, but you also said that you had it on your desk. Do you have a definitive plan on Friday?
We do. Yeah, Dunning's going to start that game. You want the whole
if you got it, sure.
I don't have it on my head, but I did bring it just for you.
Dunning, Bradford.
Bradford is pitching. I do know that. So, okay, you got Bradford. Duffy's going to throw. We got Leiter, Kelly, Church, and Kent, and Yeri. We're all looking at 1 inning. Bradford probably 2, depending on how his first inning goes.
And Heaney and Evo?
Evo's got the 2nd day. Heaney's got the 3rd day starting.
You mentioned Leiter. We were talking to him this morning, and he talked about the reset last year and how beneficial that was. What have you seen early on here, and what would you like to see from Jack here in spring training to continue his growth?
Yeah. Jack's he's looked good. He's throwing the ball well. Live hitting a couple days ago. It just got better as he went too. The off-speed pitches, the breaking ball was really good, but it was coming out really nice. I mean, he's got the life on that fastball you love, and so it's just gotten better with him each time from the first bullpen to where he's at now. I'm looking forward to watching him in these games, and we'd like to find him some work, as much work as we can, and so he'll be in the first game. I'm looking forward to watching him.
Hey, dumb question. I should have gone back and looked last year, but like Dunning's going to pitch 1. I assume like the next 2 days, Evo and Heaney will both pitch 1 also.
Right.
Is that's different from the first start last year?
No.
You were 1 inning
Yep.
first start? Okay. So there's no adjustment back?
Nope.
Okay.
No, it's very similar.
Okay.
A lot is talked about that, and I'll just touch on it. Yeah, we had a short off season, but at the same time, you got to get these guys ready when that bell rings. April's a big month, and that's our plan. Now, depending on how that inning goes, as we go, a little deeper in this, we may cut them back. We'll keep a watchful eye on these guys, but you can't change too much because we got to have them ready to go. We got some guys on the men, and so we're going to be relying on these starters in April.
Okay. I thought standard operating practice last year was 2 from the first time. I'm sorry.
Evo pitched 2 his first start last spring.
He might have, Evo, at that time had cranked it up a little bit earlier because of the WBC.
Right.
So that played a part in some of the pitcher's workload. And I'll throw Martin Perez in there too. So we did use those guys a little bit different because our job was to get them ready for that at the time.
So you brought that paper. You should have brought another paper because I'm going to ask you this question. How many runs did you guys score last year?
I couldn't tell you.
What would your guess be?
I couldn't give you a good guess.
Oh, you could guess.
No. You tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. Do you feel like you left runs on the table last year?
Oh, yeah, I'd say so, sure. I think every team can tell you that. Yeah, you're not going to. What you try to do is create enough of those opportunities where you're going to cash in more often. That's always the case. It's just like games that you win. The more games you stay in, the more games you're going to win. Well, the more runners you put on base, the more you're going to get in, but the more you're going to leave out there too.
Do you feel this offense was, on an efficiency level, how efficient do you feel like they were?
I think they were pretty efficient, to be honest. I do. I don't have numbers in front of me, but I think overall, I think you have to look at the runs that we put up. Yeah, we got to be considered efficient. I can't tell you what, how many runners we left out there, and what those, what the batting average or runners and what we hit with runners in scoring position as a team. I can't tell you that.
All right, so you scored 881 runs.
Yeah.
You were third in the big leagues behind Atlanta and Los Angeles. Is this offense capable of scoring 900 runs?
I'd say so, sure. Capable, yes. For that to happen, guys just have to be healthy, have their normal years. I think that's fair. I didn't set that as a goal, but you're looking to get better, improve. Well, we scored 880 runs last year. Well, that's not that many more runs, so I'm in on that one.
Bruce, you've had players capitalize on opportunities when Travis Jankowski, speaking of here, last year, being the way that he was in spring training and then living up to it the way that he did in the postseason. What do you think that says for other guys who are trying to make the club and then they look to a guy like that to see what he did last year as a potential and a possibility of what's laying out there ahead and the opportunity that's ahead for a guy like that?
Right. It's funny you mention that because we talked about it around the cage yesterday. There were a few hitters around, Carter being one of them, but a couple of younger players that was hit. They were hitting in Janny's group, and we're talking about his spring last year, and talking about playing relaxed, playing with that looseness and freedom that you need to play with. I said, right here, I saw one of the worst springs, and Janny said, yeah, I had a bad spring. I said, no. It was awful. I said, we got to be real here. And he laughed. He goes, no, you're right. And it was, but, just goes to show that, you can put a little too much pressure on yourself, and which I think Jankowski did. And you can't over-evaluate what happens in the spring. This is the toughest place to evaluate on pitchers and hitters. Some guys come in from winter ball, for example. They're going to tear this up, But with pitching, the sinkers aren't sinking as much. Sliders aren't quite breaking the same. Those type things. Same thing for a hitter, though. Infields are hard. A lot of lost balls in the sun or ball carries well here, so you just have to be careful in your evaluation. we're fortunate enough, and I personally was, in watching Jankowski play a lot when he was in the National League West. And I said, I'm not looking at what you're doing now. I know who you are. But just to remind the young players, don't get caught up in every at bat or every game. Just go out there and do your thing.
Going to the first game all these years into your career where I know it's still spring training, but a little anticipation for that?
Yeah, it's always good to get the games going. I think I touched on this a few days ago. They get in camp, pitchers and catchers. You can't wait for the position players. They're in a camp a couple of days. All right, we're ready for the game. So I know the guys are excited. Got a couple of guys that really want to play tomorrow. Marcus and Nathaniel. They both want to be out there, so you'll see them. Don't have the lineup to give you right now. We're going to check on some guys today, but it's always good to get the first game going. It breaks it up a little bit. These guys are working hard on the fundamentals and facing live BP, but this is why we do what we do, is to play a game, and tomorrow it starts.
You remember your first spring training game as a player?
Oh, I do. I don't think I've ever been more nervous in my life, to be honest. I was in big league camp after my first year because I was a catcher. That's the only reason I was there, catch bullpens. And Bill Burden put me in the game, and I was really nervous. Which I know some of these kids are going to be in their first camp, and that's why I try to tell them to, first of all, congrats, but to enjoy it, take it in. They're not going to make the club, and so, just try to learn and enjoy this.
Did you make contact in your first appearance, do you remember?
I did. I didn't get a hit, but I did hit it hard.
Did you have to catch to a Negro in that camp?
No. No, thank goodness. No.
How about
Actually, what's that?
How about JR?
Yeah, I did catch JR that spring. He's still the toughest pitcher I've ever had to catch. I think Ashby would tell you the same thing. Alan Ashby, he had such great stuff. He threw 99 to 102. Topped 100 and had that hard slider. Great staff.
For someone, you're so known for being good at managing bullpens. When you add, I want to ask you about two of the guys that you added, Kirby and David Robertson. Kirby Yates first. What stands out about him, and why is he a great potential addition to this bullpen?
Well, the first part of your question, you have to have a good bullpen if you're going to supposedly manage it well. That's the only way that works. Believe me, and I've been blessed with really good arms in the bullpen, just quality guys. And now you're talking about two really good, experienced bullpen guys that are pros. They know what they're doing. They have good stuff. Comfortable pitching in high leverage situations. So they're going to help stabilize this bullpen. I can use them anywhere from closing to seventh, eighth inning, and we were challenged last year. You saw it. Mike and we talked a lot about the bullpen, trying to get it right, and had our ups and downs. The good part about last year is it came together at the right time, and that's the key to winning a championship, and that's what happened for us.
What do you want to see out of Ezekiel Duran as kind of the games start up and spring keeps going on?
Yeah, he'll be getting a lot of time in the infield. Tomorrow, he may DH. I'm still waiting on the pitching. Not that that's going to determine the lineup every day, but pitching for the next few days from the other teams. But Zeke, it's going to be similar to last year with him moving around a lot, except with the fact that with JJ down, I'm talking about Young, I'm sorry, and Corey, we'll probably give him more work on the left side of the infield here.
So the Royals are keeping you guessing for these opening two matchups?
No, it's not just the Royals, the other teams, but and I shouldn't have said that with with the thought of that's going to determine the lineup because lefties are going to face lefties, but still there's a couple things that I do want to get done early in the spring on how I work this lineup because I'm not going to run guys out there 2 or 3 in a row. So in the early part, I will try to get the matchups I want as far as those guys seeing who I want them to see, not as far as trying to win the game because they're only going to be out there an inning or two.
You said Bradford is the only guy that might go 2. Is that, I mean, what if Dunning goes out there and is out of it 6 pitches?
Yeah. Well, we always have the option to change our mind. So, but
Well, the reason I'm asking is I'm curious, like, is it the up and down thing or is it just the amount of throws that you're more concerned with this early?
it's usually the amount of throws, but we're pretty locked in on 1 inning here early. And I'll be honest, I thought that's what we did last year, but I saw where they did go 2, and again, that WBC played a part, especially with Evaldi and Martin. But we're just going to make sure we monitor their workload a little bit, but not to the point where we're not going to have them ready. That's the priority, is to have them ready when the season starts.
So when you have 2 young guys like Evan and Wyatt, how much does it help that the lineup has 5 all-stars in it and that it's a veteran group and they don't have to feel any weight to go out there and produce?
I think it's a really good point. I do. It is. It is nice to have, I guess you could say, some star power on your team because it's what it is. They made the all-star team, and so the focus won't be on these kids, and we would never want that on them. I'm not concerned with it because, one, Carter's already shown he's not going to be affected.
Right.
I mean, with what he did in the postseason play, and just getting to know Wyatt, he's going to be fine. Believe me, he's got a great way about him, very humble, and so he's not going to. And he's had, the experience of pitching at Florida and playing in big games. So it's going to be good for him to get this experience here.
Are they similar in that they're like, I don't know, mature beyond their experience level?
Yep, mature beyond their years. They're, ironically, how they have come into professional ball are completely different. Get one kid out of a small town in Tennessee, out of high school, and the other one, although he's from a small town, but he did play at a major college and played against really good competition. So, but both of them are very, very mature young men.
Did you put them together in the same group out there?
Yeah, they'll probably be in the game tomorrow together.
But did you intentionally put them together or that just worked out that way?
It just worked out that way. I'm gonna leave it at that.
What makes Jankowski so valuable to your club?
Where to start with Janny, because there's so many things I like about him. He's a manager's dream. This guy, such a good teammate, accepts his role, ready to do whatever, pinch run, go in late for defense. But when he's not playing, he's involved in the game, and, during the game, in the dugout. He's ready to start anytime, but also how good he is. I mean, what a great job he did. We had injuries last year when he stepped up and saved us, had a really nice run there. Guys got healthy, he's back on the bench, doesn't say a word. And, of course, what he did in the World Series, that's impressive. We lose Dolly the next day. He has a huge day. So, he brings so much to a team. And he's probably one of the more popular guys in the clubhouse. I was really, really excited that we got him signed and brought him back. And probably as much as that is how excited he was to come back, because he had some options. He had some pretty good ones, and we know that. And but the fact he came back and joined us says a lot, about what we're doing here. And so we feel good about that.